So Stéphane, here we are.
Yeah.
It's the end. And it's been extraordinary, don't you agree?
Yes, so let's have few words to conclude, which is difficult after what Margaret just said. So, but I would like to make some history to start from the way we had the idea. So I think when first I came and discussed with you the idea of having this symposium, French-American symposium. So we have been a long-term partner. We have done several projects together, but we felt that it was time to have this symposium because there were initiatives in France and there were initiatives in North America, initiatives emerging from students doing some kind of activism, researcher community which was getting organized, and also, in fact, university and research institution governance who were taking action. Clearly, the research community is concerned with its environmental and carbon footprint, and is really concerned about taking action to advance sustainability of its activity. So that's the reason why we started this idea, saying, let's bring together the French and the Americans and the French together. So we can have a first exchange of experience and ideas. So I would like to try to make some kind of my takeaway, what I have heard, which was inspiring for me during these 3 days. So I heard some very general comments, some general messages, and one of the aspects, what I would remember is that the level of experience of approaches and worries within the research community in France as well as in the US is about the same. Same concerns, same worries, maybe sometimes some approaches might be different. The COVID pandemic has clearly amplified challenges. Everybody shares that. And what's interesting too, I come back to it, is that we observe, especially maybe it was more obvious in France because it's organized, but there is a student activism which is pushing organizations to take action. And also the research community, I want to mention again, the Lab 1.5, who was a partner, I would say some kind of partner here. I mean, the research community in France clearly involved and organized as a network to push the agenda, to have the institution being involved. Well, I like this reminder. Somebody said that the technology is not a goal, but a mean, because sometimes we have seen that technology solution could be provided. I think sometimes people say that also collective intelligence and behavior changes are needed. Also, when we speak about the subject, mobility of the research community is also a big subject, and everybody has tried to understand, to see how it will become in the future. The community, somebody said that the community is clearly ready for less traveling, but ready in theory, but not in practice. So that's, I want to keep this in mind. We'll see what's going on in a few months from now. Some others suggested that we should use a carbon offset to regulate traveling. So, okay, that's one way to do it. But at least what we should remember is that we need to take the best from the physical meetings and also the virtual world, because both of them provide and have their own benefits. Few points about the governance and the management role to push the agenda. There was this discussion which was interesting, but everybody agrees that it should be a bottom-up process. I mean, implementation ideas will come from laboratories. And that was one point. Also, what has been mentioned, and maybe the role of management at one point would be to integrate sustainability metrics in the planning of research activities. And this morning, it was also mentioned that maybe we should change the way we measure excellence of scientists. looking at the research organization, I mean, it was agreed several times mentioned that we need to promote interdisciplinary research, breaking silos. And that's maybe part of the role of the governance, but also the governance has to be involved in terms to help to install. I mean, in some cases, it's already the case. Governance can be involved to install committee, which will help to discuss, to have the agenda which is developed at the local level with local authorities and things like that, which could help to promote all of this. Education is key. I think we decided that higher education would not be the central subject because it was a subject by itself. So, but of course it came during these discussions because the original idea was to speak more about the involvement of the researcher community, researcher. But of course, education is part. Education because we need to integrate sustainability science within the curriculum of students. But education also within the research community, because we still need to foster the changes which are needed within the community. So that's something which was said. And this morning, I mean, the partnership was also discussed, and the ethical aspect of partnership. I mean, every institution will need to think about it. We need to tackle these global changes, but we need local effect with it. And what was said also is that because there is a need to build a consensus, then partnership is needed. So because this symposium was, I think, a success, we succeeded, Michel, to bring the two, I mean, this was a good share of experience and challenges that we are facing. So we need to capitalize on this fruitful exchange. And I like to make 4 conclusive observations. Is that it seems to me that ecological transition is on its way within the academic community and research community in France as well as in the US. But these communities, both in North America and France, feel clearly and strongly responsible to advance the agenda. The exchange of ideas, tools, cooperation between institutions can clearly strengthen action plan. So this is why collaboration between France and US organizations can increase the momentum and impact on any new initiative. So this is why I would suggest that we use, so to put this symposium together, we installed a steering committee, French-American steering committee. And I think maybe the first step this steering committee could help maybe with one meeting just to make the first appraisal of this webinar, but also and to make an assessment of opportunities that could lead to strengthen French-American collaboration. So we could start with the steering committee, but I know, Michel, that you want to tell us more, and I will leave you about some space to discuss that. But you offer your support. And what I want to say is that you offer your support, but the French Embassy, the Office of Science and Technology at the French Embassy will remain involved. So we want to support this, we want to accompany this French-American cooperation to help to build this, to accompany the agenda for research and academic institutions. So that's it. But before leaving you the mic, Michel, I would like to thank all the people who have been involved for this 3 days preparation and during the 3 days. First of all, I would like to thank a lot our moderator and speakers for your contribution, which was, I think, which was excellent. I want to thank you, Michel, and your first-class team, but also my colleague from the French Embassy for all the work which has been done to organize this meeting. I want to thank every partner and to mention that the partnership we had with AEF Info, which is a French news journal which is widely read by the French community, and hopefully there will be some follow-up following this symposium. I want to thank also every attendees and participant for your participation. So thank you very much. And Michelle, the floor is yours for the last words.
Thank you so much, Stéphane. And I will be very brief for those of you that are able to stay for about 2 more minutes. Substantively, to respond to your fantastic summary of the last 3 days, I really want to underscore that this work that we've done together through this symposium, this is boundary spanning. This is really capturing science and knowledge for people and planet. And these types of knowledge exchange can and should only increase. So to encourage everyone again to join us through the community of practice, to remain engaged and sustain this good dialogue that we've established. We will send out to all of you who have participated an opportunity via email to join, and also you can see on the slide here that you can email Alyssa and Julito on our team if you're interested. We also will be distributing a link for the recording of all of the sessions that you've heard, and do our best to keep this community connected through the community of practice. Anthropogenic change is underfoot, as we all know. We heard this from Margaret. And I think that the imperative that we have as a scientific enterprise, particularly through higher education, is to do all we can to activate science solutions, to make science accessible, understandable, and usable by decision makers, as we've heard from a number of our incredible speakers at all levels of government and across all sectors. I think that is the big lesson of many, but one of the primary lessons from the pandemic and also from recent political times, that multilateralism is absolutely essential. Science diplomacy is key to a vibrant, dynamic, healthy society. Transdisciplinary and transboundary opportunities to apply and share science and knowledge are a top priority for societies writ large, and certainly for this organization. And also to underscore the importance of equity, inclusion, and diversity in our work. And someone at some point, forgive me, I can't remember who had really mentioned earlier today, that we consider how we highlight and include the Global South in our work. And I think what we've really learned as an organization, certainly I can say in my role, through this symposium, is not only the importance of bilateral knowledge exchange, the importance of ensuring that we design these opportunities so we can be as inclusive as possible. And we also, GCSE, will be looking for additional opportunities where we can partner with colleagues from other Francophone countries in collaboration with you, Stéphane, and the French Embassy, as well as other university partners, other multinational partners in different parts of the world, to really meet this challenge and to continue to work towards the priority for making more accessible and elevating the importance of, again, equity and inclusivity through our work. So I, on behalf of Stéphane, myself, the French Embassy, the Global Council for Science and the Environment, I want to extend, as you have, Stéphane, a deep thanks to our colleagues from both the Embassy and GCSE for helping to make this event all that it's been. I also want to thank the members of our steering committee and really to extend to you all. I know this has been a really tough time, and I don't know that anyone has said that specifically for academic scientists, for those of you that have retained your teaching schedules and your research under these pandemic conditions, and then made the time additionally to participate in the steering committee and help to conceive of the vision and execute the symposium with the caliber that we've been able to. Thank you all for your leadership. We will be in touch. Hopefully you all know how to reach us, and we will make sure that everyone is connected through the community of practice going forward. For now, please be safe, be well, and thank you.